we here at Level Completed decided it was best to offer one of our best and brightest up for your entertainment today. It's only fair that sweet, sweet Mark loses some of his innocence for the sake of our show. I sent Mark a little reel of this week's game, Dead Space, and seeing as he's one of the most optimistic, energetic, and reactive people I know, it seemed like a perfect fit to have him view one of the most shocking, gruesome pieces of media I've seen within the past year. Oh!
What's this game called?
2023's Dead Space remake is haunting. Where it might feel natural to take the fast-paced Blaze of Glory approach for a setup like this one, Isaac Clarke going through the USG Ishimura, looking for the rest of his crew after a crash landing, scavenging for resources to get the journey back on track, and searching for answers that deepen a necromorph-filled rabbit hole with no end in sight. These are all things that feed into this natural sense of mystery and horror that Dead Space loves to lean into. Let's get our burning questions out of the way first. Is this remake better than the original? Like the last episode, I'm not going to tell you that there's no merit to the original. I haven't played the OG, so I can't tell you for sure, but a close friend of mine, Frank, played the original twice in the last year. He's bold enough to claim it as a timeless classic. However, he notes that they took every aspect in the original and enhanced it, particularly in visuals and gameplay, but also making story and character motivations more consistent. Lore for the rest of the series is set up to flow better, and where Isaac was a silent protagonist in the original, speaking did wonders for him as far as personality and backstory, making him align more with the version of him you get in the original series Dead Space 2 and 3. Next, is this game worth getting? Absolutely. Let's get into why. The Dead Space remake allows you to sink your teeth into a story that eases off the gas of info dumps and allows you to get into the lore at your own pace. This remake's perks come as a cosmic horror art style that benefit from this game's graphics running on newer, stronger hardware, and smooth reactive controls that are bolstered on the PlayStation 5 and DualSense controllers' adaptive triggers. The best part about this game is the feeling that they went all out. Everything looks shiny and beautiful in a way that resonates with the tone of the story. The format of Dead Space is that you get a little cutscene or blurb explaining what you need to do, you're given the option to read or discover more about it, and then you get straight to it while burrowing through the Ishimura, a giant spacecraft that hasn't been responding properly to any calls or signals. You soon find out that the reason there's no response is because the craft is overrun with these terrifying zombie-like creatures that are not only hunting you down, but at times seem to be taking up the form of crew members.
Ooh, mystery.
The further along you go in the story, the more you're clued into the idea that something fishy is going on, and it's been brewing for a hot minute. Not only am I finding out more as I go, but I'm not ready to give everything away. Though, the mystery at hand is a treat of conspiracy wrapped in a neat little bow filled with insubordination and fanatic occultism. Those are the themes that permeate while you navigate a stunning-looking environment that keeps you on your toes at every turn. It's this game's job to make sure that you realize that every turn you take, every time you let something slip out of your gaze, you are not safe. There are necromorphs waiting to show up whenever you let your guard down, and taking them down the way your basic zombies go down just won't cut it. At best, you can impair these guys, then melee and move on. The involvement of a more detailed combat system than your regular action game makes for more continuous strategy while you play. And the fact that almost all of the time, you never expect when an enemy just comes right for you, increases the difficulty in a way that makes for the challenge of this game feel organic. So, meat and potatoes, Dead Space is great to boot, yeah? What makes it special? In a phrase, attention to detail. The things that make this game stand out to me are the flourishes on every end. Apart from the beautiful graphics and atmosphere, which, let's take a moment. The sound design of this game is on another level. Something I picked up while recording audio for this game is that the music, which is already stellar in its own cryptic way, has these little clinking sounds layered into it. What this adds an atmosphere to the experience is a level of anxiety that remains even if you're alone. When you're zoned in and moving, these sounds will come in to remind you that you're actually not that alone, and that is a very bad thing. Another thing that I think makes Dead Space stand out is the wonderful accessibility settings menu that it has, a testament to the fact that with a little effort, gaming can be made for everyone, even masterclasses in terror like this one. Shout out to the content warning and disturbing scene blur toggles, which make a game like this one easier to navigate for people who want to dip their toes in the water while still getting into the good stuff. Another detail I loved about this game is that the heads-up display is all just part of the character. Isaac's health bar is the glowing spine of his suit. His ammo count is seen when you actually point his plasma cutter. And instead of focusing on a minimap and not taking in the environment, you can press the right stick to reorient you whenever you lose track. The Digital Deluxe Edition came with a bunch of neat alternate suits to put Isaac in. My favorite one of those was the classic suit from the original game. That being said, I did have a fondness for the default suit he has in this remake. When I say firing on all cylinders, Dead Space is a game that leads by example. Thanks to the folks at EA for the review code.